That's you can see in Python. Okay. So mainly there are 4 kinds of data structures in Python. First one is list. Second one is tuple. The third one is set. The fourth one is dictionary. These are the 4 categories of data structures we are having in Python. Okay. So let's first, I can start. The first one is list. Okay. So now first we have to see what is a list. Okay. A list is a generic data structures, that is a collection of objects, collection of ordered objects. Collection of ordered objects. Sometimes these objects we can also call it as elements, or sometimes called as components. A list is a collection of ordered objects. A collection of components or collection of elements are called as a list. Clear? So now let's points to remember. Clear? First, a list is contains collection of elements. Okay, so the list elements are enclosed in curly brackets. Okay. Next, each element is separated. Each element is separated with comma. Okay. Next, the elements in a list may be any type. The list elements may be integer, or it may be a float, or it may be a string, or a list may contain some another list or another sequence. Clear? So that is, these are the points we have to remember before going to the concept in depth about the list. Okay. So first we can go how to create a list. Okay. So for example, list L equals to 1 or some 10, comma, 20, comma, 30, comma, 40. This may be one list. It contains how many elements? 4 elements. Each element is separated with a comma. Another example is, let's take L1 list 1 equals to, okay, for example, 101, comma, some Ras, okay, some comma 35,000.75. This may be one list. So let's see. In this, the list contains the same type of elements here, but here the list contains heterogeneous elements, different type of elements. That's why I can explain here. A list may contain any type of elements. It may not be necessary the list elements are same type. Okay. For example, I can take as one more list. For example, EMP, okay, details equals to. I can take as some ID. I can, for example, employee name and number of employees or EMP count. This is one list. In this, I can maintain as ID is one more list. For example, 101, comma 201, comma 301, comma 401. This is one list. Example, employee name. Name equals to, I can take another example, Ross, comma, for example, Johnny, for example, Jimmy, for example, some Satvik. Okay, next, EMP count. Equals to, I can take as 4 like this. Clear? So now that means finally how we can represent is EMP details equals to the list. It contains one list is ID of the employees, comma, one more list employee names, comma, one more element is called as sub 4. This is also a list. A list may contain some another list. Contain some another. Likewise, we may create a list in any way. It's not necessary the list elements are same type. It may contain some any number of elements. Let's start executing these statements in our Colab. This one, then play. Okay, take some time to execute. Executed. If you want displaying the elements of L1, then simply I can give us some L1. Then play. So the output is 101 RAS 35,000.75. Let's say, for example, if you want to execute this statement. Just I can try to increase the font size. Fine, okay. So employee details I can list create here. Then I can run this cell. Then if you want to display the list elements, then create the new cell and paste. Now all the elements are displayed here. Clear? Likewise, we are creating the list. Okay. Now, if you want to access the elements of a list, okay. So now, how we can access the elements of a list? We can access the elements of a list by using the index values. With index values. Okay. For example, taking as employee details. Employee details. This is the first list. This is some second list, and this is some another element. That means initially the list contains 3 objects. First object, second object, and third object. Clear? Each and every object may contain some another list or anything. But in general, this list contains some 3 objects. Okay, let's see, for example, if you want to access the first object, I can give you as, for example, EMP. Okay, EMP details of 0. 0 means the first index objects. The first in 0, this is 0 index, this is the first index, this is the second index. So employee details of 0 means this is the first index that can be displayed. Clear? For example, if I can write it as employee details of, for example, 2. It can displays index 2. This is index 0. This is index 1, this is index 2, this 4 is displayed. Okay, if you want to remember one thing, the index values or starts from either left to right or right to left. You see, I can explain here. This one. Let's take as the list is Ram, Preeti, Santosh, and John. The list index starts from left to right, 0, 1, 2, 3. From right to left, -1, -2, -3, -4. That means employee name of 0 returns Ram. Employee name of 2 returns Satish. Employee name of 3 returns John. Okay, from the left to right, the index starts from 0 to and so on. From the right to left, index starts from -1, -2, -4. That means employee name of -3, the value is Preeti. The employee name of -2, the value is Satish. Likewise, we are creating the list. Clear? Hope everyone understood this one. Okay, so in this example, employee details of 2 is some 4. If you want to access 201 from this entire list, how we can access? First, we can go to this list. In this list, we are having elements 201. So to go to this list, we are using employee details of 0. Yes? Details of 0. Clear? So now that means we are getting to this list, to this object. In this object, again, I want access 201. Now it can index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. If I'm given as someone like this. Employee details of 0 means the first object. In this object, again, I want to go to index 1. This is index 1. That's why if you run this one, we get 201 output. Likewise, it's just like two-dimensional arrays in C++ programs. Okay, likewise, also we can access the list elements. If I'm given, for example, employee details of -2 something. This is -1, this is -2. Clear? This list is displayed. Let's write on this one. That's it. This list is displayed. Likewise, we are accessing the elements in a list. Okay, so indexes. For example, slicing. Slicing in a list. What's called as slicing. Slicing in a list. Okay. So the slicing starts from anything. For example, given as some EMP underscore, first I can give as one list L equals to, okay, some 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 like this. This is one list. Slicing means, okay, so in slicing in a list, okay, within the bracket, we are given as some list name, list name, then we are using some colon, then it is left slicing and right index. This is from which index I want to access, and up to this index we want to access, we have providing right side here. Likewise, we are providing the slicing here. For example, if I'm going to go to this example, L of some 1 colon some 4. It starts from index 1 like this. 0, we want to run this one, okay? Then, okay. 1 to 4, that means index 0, index 1, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. The meaning of this one is displays the list of elements from 1 up to this right hand side -1. That means from index 1 to index 3. This is index 0, index 1, it can displaced, index 2, it was displayed, and index 3. Okay, that means 1 to it can displace, including this left hand side value, excluding this right hand side value. It can displaced 1 to 4 means index 1 is displayed up to index this 4 minus 1 is elements are displayed. Okay, so now that is one more type of slicing. Go back another one, given us some L of some 2 column like this. It can displace all the elements from index 2. 0, 1, 2, that is 30, 40, 50, 60 displayed. If I am given as L of colon some 3, it can displace up to 2, 0, 1, 2, it can displace. These are most important in the coming chapters. Why? Because the Python for data science course in the next class, in the next sessions, I was discussed NumPy, Pandas, SQL libraries. In all those libraries, the slicing plays important role. That's you need to understand these things. Okay, that's it. Okay. Next one is, for example, if I'm given as for example, list of I'm given as only column. It can displace all the elements. Clear? Simply colon. Okay. For example, I can give as some list of colon minus, let's see the output 10, 20, 30. That is, this is, it can displace up to minus 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, okay, minus 5, minus 6. It can displace up to minus 3. That is 10, 20, 30. Okay. Let's, if you given as, for example, list of minus 1 colon. May only 60. Why? Because this is minus 1, it is 60. So it's reverse side. Okay. So if you read the positive sign from this one to this one. Clear. So now if you given us positive 1 to 4, 2 to up to and up to the 3 and all the elements. If you given us minus 1 colon, given as minus 1 colon, what can displace is, what is the last element? Only minus 1 is displayed. This is minus 1 is last element. There is no more elements in the display. That's why minus 1 is displayed. Clear. So now, if you given as minus 3, right hand side is minus 3. That means up to minus 3. Minus 3, minus 1. How many elements is displayed? Right hand side size minus 1. What right hand side size? Minus 3. Minus 3 minus 1 minus 4. That's why minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Up to this element, the elements are displayed 0, 20, 30. Simply what we are specifying the right hand side minus 1. 4 minus 1, that means 3. That means 1, 2, 3 displayed. That means 10, 20, 30, 40 is displayed. Here minus 3, minus 3 minus 1 minus 4. Up to minus 4, the elements are displayed. Up to minus 4 means this is minus 1, this is minus 2, this is minus 3, this is minus 4. Up to this 10 to minus 4, 10 to 30 elements are displayed. Hope everyone understood. This is called as list slicing. Okay, apart from this, there are some more operations in list. Let us quickly revise all those things. These are the basic concepts you required. Okay, like if I'm writing as, for example, I can take as some list L1 equals to 10, 20, 30. Okay, and then list 2 equals to some 30 comma 2 3. That means it can check the 3 is available in the list or not. If 3 is existing in this list, it returns a true, otherwise false. Let's start executing this one. Okay, if everything has 3 in list 10 comma 20 comma 30. Okay, turns false. Why? Because 3 is not in a list. If I'm given as some 30, returns true. Why? Because 30 is in a list. This type of statements in general we are writing as in some if statements like this. Okay, that is about some more about examples in numbership iterations. For x in 1, 2, 3, that means the x is assigned to 1, then assigned 2 to x, again assigned 3 to x, all those things. This slicing also we discussed. The sum of the functions we're having list, all, any, enumerate, length, list, max, min, sorted, sum. Okay, the sum of the methods of a list. Append, that means add elements to a list. Add element to the end of the list. Extend, add all the elements of list to end the list. Insert element at the specified index. Remove element from the list. Pop, removes and returns an element at the given index. Clear, remove all the elements from the list. Likewise, we're having so many methods in a list. Okay, so I'm not going in depth about these concepts because we need to cover so many concepts. Our main interest is Python for data science. We have to learn NumPy, Pandas, SQL library, all those things. So quickly, you have to revise, practice these lists with some examples. Okay, we are also iterating to list also. Okay, that is briefly about the list concepts. Okay, so for example, if you want to display in the sort elements in list, simply given us a list name dot sort. That means all the elements in list are sorted, displayed in the sorting order. If you want to reverse the list of elements, simply we are calling the reverse elements, then it can reverse the elements. If you want to count the how many times, if you want to know how many times the element 8 is existing in a list, that is also most important case while we are solving the problems. If you want to know the repeated elements in a list, or which element is occurred how many times in a list. For example, I can give you the program is write a program, okay, to find out the occurrence of each and every element in a list. The occurrence of each element in a list. At the time we use some for loop. Then if you take each and every element, then if you in the count. For example, my list dot count of 8. How many times count occurs? 2 times. That's why 2. Clear? So this is also helpful a lot. Index, it can display the first index of 8. What's first index of 8? 0, 1. The 8 may exist in 2 times, but the first index is 1. That's why it can display output is 1. This is plays a crucial role. Okay. So for example, I can give you one assignment task. Find out the number of, find out, count the occurrence of each and every element in list. For example, what the count of 3? 1. Count of 8? 2. Count of 1 is 1. 6 occurs how many times? 1. 0 occurs how many times? 1. Likewise, if you want to know the count of each and every element in list, if creating a list, write a for loop. In that for loop, simply I can call in this count method. Then we can write the solve the problem. Very easy. Okay.